It's Dew Time with Pastor Steph.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. You're on with this Dew Time with Pastor Steph. How are you this morning? That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear. For this is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. So, where were you all last week? Well, I don't know what you were doing, but I tell you, I had a fantastic week. A week away in Nassau, Bahamas, sailing the seas on a wonderful cruise. How was your Thanksgiving? Oh, I hope it was fantastic. I had a wonderful time. I celebrated my birthday. It was just a time to be had. I got sick a little bit, but I tell you, it just didn't outweigh the wonderfulness of just being away. I missed you all. Definitely, I missed everybody. And I'm so glad that you're back up and running. And I'm not here talking to myself. Did you miss me as much as I missed you? I sure hope so. So what did we do? We ate, and again, I didn't stay in the Bahamas too long. I can't do too much walking, but it was beautiful. It was a beautiful layout. I haven't been to the Bahamas in years. Absolutely. It's been about 20 years since I've actually been to the Bahamas, and they have done a wonderful job with upgrading the shops areas. And boy, you wouldn't even know it was the same place. It is definitely, it was really a nice experience. And again, just being away and relaxing and enjoying the peace and quiet that I was able to experience. Again, it's not like being with you, but it was wonderful. How was Thanksgiving Day? Did you spend it with family? Did you spend it with friends? What did you do? What did we do? We didn't do much. I think that day I was kind of sick, so I wasn't running around doing much. But, to God be the glory. We had a wonderful trip where it was uneventful. We had done some stories about some craziness going on some of these cruise ships, and we were on the Norwegian breakaway, and it was good. It was good. Like I said, I enjoyed it. I had a wonderful time. Thank you, Ketty. I missed you too. And, talking to you all each and every morning, the crazy Dew Time crew, I missed them as well. And, now everybody is back up and running. Did you go away? Did you stay home? Did you travel? How was the traveling? I know a lot of people opted to drive instead of fly because the flights and things were so crazy. And, giving God thanks that we're all back here safely. We are all here and we're smiling. I have a headache. Please forgive me. I have such a headache, but we're going to get through this together, because I'm telling you, last night I looked up some news. This is not going to be shaking the Monday morning blues. It is going to be, have they lost their mind Monday? Yes. I'm like, we only went away for a few days. What in the world happened in the news? Oh my goodness. They have lost their ever-loving minds. So, just hit me up. Tell me, how you spent your Thanksgiving Day? Did you just come back yesterday? How was the traveling? We got back, and thank God we didn't have a whole lot of commotion getting back home. It was crazy. Even that was crazy. We got off the ship, and there were all of these cab drivers who claimed they were Uber and Lyft, and they were going buck wild. They were arguing and yelling, and oh, it was pandemonium. I just don't miss this stuff. I don't know about the rest of you, but I so don't miss the craziness. I just don't. And after coming off of 5 days of just not waking up to an alarm or whatever have you, it was just, they've lost their mind. They will lose their mind from yesterday. So after going through the news, yes, I'm officially calling this, they have lost their mind Monday. Wait till we get to talking about this crazy news. Make sure you go ahead and tell somebody that It's Due Time with Pastor Steph is back on. We are back. Go and get that healthy breakfast. And please don't go anywhere, because we will be right back.
"30 minutes before a heart attack, your body gives off 5 warning signs that no one can ignore. And if you ignore them, you could miss your final window to act. So here are 5 early signs of a heart attack. Watch this video to the end, or you won't find it when you need it. And don't forget to follow me. Let's see if you recognize any of them. The first sign is chest discomfort. It feels like pressure, squeezing, or heaviness because blood flow to the heart is being blocked. The second sign is pain in your left arm, shoulder, or jaw. When heart tissue lacks oxygen, pain signals can travel through nearby nerves. The third sign is shortness of breath. Your heart isn't pumping properly, so less oxygen reaches your lungs. The fourth sign is cold sweat. Your nervous system goes into fight or flight mode due to reduced blood flow. The fifth sign is nausea or dizziness. A drop in blood pressure.
Good morning, and good morning again. Welcome back to It's Due Time with Pastor Steph, and we are shaking the Monday morning blues along with it's Have You Lost Your Mind Monday. Wait till we get to the news. Did you check out that PSA? I really, really, really want you to go back and play that um, PSA. If you don't play that PSA, then please make sure you go on the internet, you print out and put on your refrigerator, on the back of your door. I don't care where you post it. Please post the signs of a heart attack, signs of a stroke. We were on a wonderful trip, and the night before, there was an alarm. Some, neighbors where we were eating in the dining hall, there was a scare and there was an incident. And, we all need to know these signs. We all need to make sure we become familiar with these signs. These things are not to be ignored. Please learn them. If not just for your loved ones, for yourself. There's a time period where you can actually, maybe even reach out to someone in that quick moment, there's a possibility that you can signal to someone that you're in distress and you need help. So make sure you learn the signs and this stuff is not kind of going over your head. So that was an excellent PSA for us to have this morning. And, I want us to be able to, get through these things, because you can, a lot of times you can, it does not mean that it's fatal. So, make sure you go back and play that. Okay. Well, it's time to say good morning. Oh my goodness. It's been 5 whole days where I have not said good morning. And I definitely need for you to check in. Now, you know how this goes. I don't know you're on unless you say good morning to Pastor Steph so I can give you a shout out. I am so happy to say good morning to King Terrence. Good morning, Terrence. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We got to check in from our girl, Ketty. Hey, Ketty girl. Thank you so much for joining us. What's up, Serge? What's going on, my brother? Thank you so much for joining us. We got our girl, Tamika, checking in now. Listen, Tamika is on a month hiatus. Yeah, she's got some issue going on with her throat. Remember, like a last month sometime, she couldn't talk. Well, she's back to that. And she's not going to be on for a whole month. So we're looking forward to her fingers doing the talking. So good morning, Tamika. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. And we've got a check-in from Mr. Juan. Good morning. Thank you for joining us, Juan. We've got, yes, Serge. Thank God for that information. It's nothing like that type of information to help us save a life. You don't want to bypass those opportunities. We got to check it from Miss Grace. What's going on, Miss Grace? Thank you so much for joining us. Praying that you are doing well on this cold and frigid morning. We got to make sure we say good morning to the ladies that keep us held down in the background. Let's say good morning to our girl Shantice. Hey, Shantice. Thank you so much for just doing your thing and making sure we're up and running. And we got a check-in from our girl Anika. Hey, Anika. Thank you so much for joining us. And it's cold out, baby. It's cold outside. It sure is. Well, you know what we do every Monday morning. The first thing we do is we get that health tip. Yes, this morning, thanks to our loyal viewers, I got a post. We've got some foods that can help keep your diabetes down and hopefully away. We're going to try to get to that away, not just down. We're going to try to get to that away. We want to make sure we don't have that dumb diabetes. It is ripping people apart. I, for one, am really experiencing some craziness with my eyes and all kinds of things. So let's get rid of this diabetes. Let's get off that diabetes watch. If they're saying we're pre-diabetic, we're going to work on that thing. Dark chocolate. Yes, let's get that dark chocolate. They say that dark chocolate is definitely one thing that can help lower your risk of diabetes and keep that insulin sensitivity away. So make sure you get the dark chocolate, 70% dark chocolate, not the milk chocolate. That's nothing but sugar. Okay. All right. Okra, and more okra. Now, okra is something that is not on the favorite list. It's not on the favorite list at all. But I tell you, it is definitely a great source of fiber, and it will definitely help to lower our glucose after our meals. So, listen, the fried okra, I know we're not supposed to be doing the fried okra, but listen, if you can get a little bit in that way, then do it. We've got baked, we've got roasted, We've got sauteed. Get your okra in. Great source of antioxidants. So you want to make sure that you get that okra in your system. Fatty fish. Yes, we're talking about the salmon. We're talking about the mackerel, the sardines. We're going to make sure we get that omega-3 fatty acid in our system via this fish. Okay, so it reduces organ, muscles, and bone inflammation. Alrighty, so that insulin sensitivity, bye bye. Alrighty, get that in like 3 times a week. 3 times a week. You know, every once in a while when I'm like hungry and I just need something to just like hit my stomach and stop those hunger pains, I just pop open a can of sardines real quick. I squeeze a little mustard on it, cut a little onions over it. Oh my goodness. It is such a great treat. And again, you could do that like as many times as you want. Yeah. All right. Leafy greens. We're trying to get rid of those diabetes. Get rid of the diabetes. Try your leafy greens. We're talking about spinach, kale, Swiss chard. We're talking about that romaine lettuce. The iceberg lettuce is full of water. You can go ahead and get it in your system, but you definitely want to hit those leafy greens. Again, spinach, kale, Swiss chard, loaded with vitamins and minerals to help keep you, full too. Yeah, it passes through you, but if you eat it the right way, you're going to make sure you are, satiated. It'll keep you full. Yes. If you eat, listen, spinach, kale, Swiss chard, eat that 2-3 times a day. Before you know it, it's already done. Okay. So the best part about these leafy greens, you can put them in your smoothies. That's why I said you can get it 2-3 times a day in your system. You can eat it with salad. You can put it in your smoothie. So you've got a variety of ways that you can actually get that done. All right. Nuts, and more nuts. We're talking about almonds, walnuts, pistachios. Yes. Now, walnuts are also good for the brain. So you want to make sure you get those nuts in. Almonds, definitely good. They're a large source of fiber. It helps to slow your digestion, which will keep your sugar spikes down. Yes, because as it's passing through, it helps your system flow through your system very slowly. So you want to make sure you get those nuts in your system. Get rid of that diabetes quickly. All right. So already, let's talk about that smoothie. You've got some dark chocolate. You could drop a little bit of dark chocolate in your smoothie. Yes, you can. You can definitely add in the leafy greens. You can definitely add in the nuts. Yes. So already. Oh, and next thing, avocado. Definitely a smoothie. Definitely a smoothie piece of your recipe. Yes. Definitely guacamole is the way to go. It is so good. It is so good. Or you know what? If you like burgers, eat it on your burger. Eat it in your salad. All you gotta do is doll it up a little bit. It's not as bland as you may leave it. And it is definitely rich for your smoothies. It helps to thicken up those smoothies. All right. Seaweed. They've got seaweed chips. They've got all kinds of stuff that they can eat now for snack. So get that seaweed in your system. They say it definitely is great for your digestion. And sprinkle it in your rice, soup. Pop them in your mouth as chips. Get those seaweed chips. I hear they're very good. Haven't tried them yet, but I hear they're very good. Chia seeds. Oh, my favorite. Another smoothie content. Yes. Just make sure before you do your smoothie, drop your chia seeds in some water so they can start to gel. Don't put them necessarily directly without putting them in water. And you can do that like 20 minutes, even as you're preparing your smoothie. Make that the last contact. Just drop some water in there and help it to gel. And it is definitely a filler. It will definitely help to keep you full. Okay. Another omega-3 fatty acid, chia seeds. Yes. It can also reduce inflammation. So all those aches and pains, bye-bye. So you can put them in your yogurt. You can put them in your oatmeal. I definitely put them in my overnight oats. It's so good. It's so good. All right. What's her name? Tamika, listen. Stop talking about the sardines. She said, I really tried the sardines thing, but nothing in me can adapt to the taste. Yuck. No, don't listen to her. Sardines are delicious. Broccoli. Broccoli. Loaded with fiber, vitamins, antioxidants. You definitely want to get that broccoli in your system. Now listen, we're not going to kill the broccoli. We're not going to boil it till it's all limp. And we want to steam it, saute it. You can get your fresh broccoli, cut it up and put it in your salad. Good, very good. Berries, another smoothie content. Yes, berries definitely a great source of antioxidants. Fiber will definitely help to drop that sugar level. Yes, that glucose level. Berries are a wonderful, wonderful aid in helping to keep that diabetes away. Greek yogurt. Now, we're not talking about Dannon. We're not talking about little yogurt with the fruit inside. We're talking about any kind of plain Greek yogurt is definitely good for your smoothies. You can definitely drop your chia seeds, your berries, your nuts. Already, you're loading up. In one meal, you've already loaded up. All righty. Cinnamon. I put cinnamon sticks in everything. Cinnamon sticks are excellent source of insulin breaking content. Yes, very good. And it'll help to sweeten a little bit. It doesn't do a whole lot of sweetening, but definitely helps to kind of add a little sweetener to your stuff. And you can put cinnamon in your smoothie. Yes. Whole grains. All right. We got wheat, rye, barley. Definitely get those whole grains in your system. And it definitely helps your digestion. Absolutely. Great in vitamins, minerals, fiber, help to regulate that blood sugar. Yep, you want to make sure you get those whole grains in your system. Tomatoes, yes. Great for antioxidants and helping to get rid of that type 2 diabetes. And you can just slice them. Listen, so you got your leafy greens, you've got your tomatoes, you've got your nuts and berries. You can actually make a salad. Yeah. So come on, get creative. All right. So those are the things you want to get into your system each and every day. All right. All right. So what we talking about in the news today? Let's see. Woo! Crazy. They have lost their mind Monday. That's what we're calling this. Let's see. All right. Let's see where we started. All right. We got some crazy stuff going on. Crazy stuff. Okay. Let's see how much we can get through today. All right. You know, I can't. We got my men on today. I'm so excited to come back and I'm loaded. Oh, let's talk about the men. Oh, so you got this guy. He wants to get his mom's pension. Now, talk about separation anxiety. He dresses up as his mother and he goes to the office to continue to get her pension checks. They have lost their mind Monday. So you've got this woman, 85-year-old Graziella, and her son puts on makeup, a wig, his mama clothes, and he wants to renew her identity card that has expired so that he can continue to collect her pension. So he gets dressed and he goes to the office, and one of the customer service reps says she notices that he does not look like a woman. He looks like a man dressed up as a woman. So she actually notifies the authorities. So she says he's got hair on his neck, he's wearing heavy makeup, and he's got some beard holes. Oh. So what they do is they let by the time the authorities had gotten there, he had already started to make his way out. So here he is in a dark cardigan sweater, white scarf, mid-length skirt, brown wig, and a cane. And they call him back, telling him that he needs to fill out some paperwork, some additional paperwork, and that's when they arrest him. Now, prior to him going to the office to renew the card, he had already collected $60,000 of her survivor's pension from her late husband. Now, you just can't be this desperate. Now, prior to him going through all of this, he used to work as a nurse. So where's your own money? Go back to work. Why are you going through all of this? So at 56 years old, he's dressing up as his 83-year-old mother. And now he's sitting in jail because he's got identity theft, fraud. You know, this is like big time accusation. Yes. So please, come on, y'all. Y'all could do better than this. Please. Goodness gracious. They've lost their mind Monday. Story 2. There's 2 men. Shantice, you got to show these pictures. Gavin Weisenberg and Tanner Thomas lost their ever-loving mind. Here's what they plan to do. So 21-year-old Gavin and 20-year-old Tanner, they are now being charged with murder, conspiracy to murder, maim or kidnap in a foreign country, and production of child pornography. They actually, I'm going to go to the end of the story because this is some crazy stuff here. One actually joined the United States Air Force. One went to the Fire Academy so that they can learn special skills, because their plan was to take over an entire Haitian island. Ready? They were going to murder every man, kidnap all the women and children, and use them as sex slaves. This was actually a plan. This is actually a plan. They said they studied hard. So they said they started that plan back in August of 2024. So it was a year. They planned for a whole year. They said their plot was to purchase a sailboat, firearms and ammunition, and recruit people from a homeless population in Washington, D.C. to serve as a mercenary force. So you then took homeless people. You're going to train them to be mercenaries so that you can now go and take over Gonaiville Island out in Haiti so that you could kill all the men, kidnap the women and children, and turn them into your sex slaves. Now, here's the thing. Y'all ready? This particular island is populated with 100,000 people. It's only accessible by boat or aircraft. So how were you going to take this 100,000 people, kill all the men, and then kidnap the women and the children? How many people were you recruiting that you felt you were going to get this done? They say they even learned the Haitian Creole language. They researched schools and they enrolled so that they could be equipped with skills to evacuate. And all kinds of, they learned how to draft operational and logistical plan. This was a whole year that they worked toward doing this. Now, can you imagine if they worked toward doing something constructive? Amazing. Amazing. So they can both face up to life in prison, as well as 15 to 30 additional years in child pornography charges. What is the matter? Did I say this is, have they lost their mind Monday? Lost their mind Monday. Trust me when I tell you. What else are we talking about here? Have they lost their mind Monday? So you've got out in Florida, you've got this Uber or Lyft driver who actually pulled into someone's driveway. And the video from the home shows that he pulled up in the driveway. No, was it a she? It was a she. Pulled up in the driveway, female driver, into a home in Miami Gardens, got out of her car, walked over to the passenger side, pulled down her skirt, squatted. They say then they show her pulling her skirt back up in another clip and then waving and talking to another neighbor. Oh my gosh. She's got a dog in the passenger seat. Now they show a separate clip of urine stain on the ground, toilet paper covering defecation. So you couldn't pull over into the woods, into an area where there would be nobody. No, you pull into someone's driveway to do this. Have they lost their mind Monday? I don't know. I don't know. I got time for one more. I got time for a couple more, as a matter of fact. Because we gonna talk about these things. Because the men are gonna have an opportunity to choose which ones they talk about today. All righty. Mothers and their sons. We have been talking over the past month about how these kids have been going buck wild, and we're not talking about no little kids either. So you've got Darius Hazard, 44 years old. He's out in Massachusetts. Pretty much, he's tired of taking care of his parents. Yeah. They say that he has been taking care of the parents. One parent was walking with like a cane, and the other one had like back problems. They are elderly. If he's 44, then yes, they're elderly. 76-year-old mom and 83-year-old dad. And he ended up physically assaulting them. But not only did he physically assault them, he then took gasoline, poured it on the first floor of the home, and set the house on fire. All because at the end of the day, he did not want to take care of them anymore. They say, and I don't know how they got this, whether the son told this or not, but they were yelling, come back, please help us, help me, we're in trouble. And he kept on going. No. Well, why would you help him? You set him on fire. Well, they knew it was him because he did live there. And they say when they went to check the home, they found that it had rained the night before, but in the spot where his car was parked was completely dry. So they were able to even start there. Again, dumb criminals. You can't make this stuff up. Yeah, they said he got real angry, shoved them both to the floor, started hitting and punching them. Oh boy, I tell you. Do we have one more crazy story? Let's see, we got one more crazy story. So we've got, last week before last, we did the story of the woman who was walking her children home and the kids attacked them. Well, they've got another story out in Maryland where this woman went to pick up her children, and come to find out that this whole set of kids, 11 to 15 years old, surrounded her daughter, started beating on the daughter, all at the bus stop. That they have been taking this bus all to bully her daughter. When she got involved and tried to keep the kids off her daughter, now they're beating her up. And this seems to be the thing. Why the trends get started? All you need is one story. All you need is one story, and the stories end up taking off. So I don't even know what to say. Like I said, we are at they've lost their mind Monday, and these people, they need to do some real time, because this is sick. Let me read some of these. Is that Pastor Jeff on a treadmill? Pull up Pastor Jeff. Let me see if that's him on the treadmill. Is that you on the treadmill, Pastor Jeff?
Yes, it is.
You getting that workout in the morning. Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
I am well, thank you. I am well. We got some crazy stories this morning, Pastor Jeff.
All right.
Crazy stories. All right, Pastor Jeff, you've got this. Let me get my stories together. You can choose the story of the guy, 56 years old, who dresses up as his dead mama in order to get a renewed identification card so that he can continue to collect her pension checks. So to date, he's collected over $60,000. You've got the next story you can talk about, where the two guys, 20 and 21 years old, have studied for a whole year to take over a Haitian island so that they can murder every single man on the island and kidnap the women and children so they can sell them as sex slaves. We've got the woman who's the Uber or the Lyft driver who decides that she's going to pull up in somebody's yard or driveway and literally urine and defecate in the driveway. You've got the son who gets tired of helping and taking care of his parents out in Massachusetts and beats them up and sets them on fire, and they're both dead now from smoke inhalation, which meant that they died inhaling that smoke. Poor things. Or you've got the mother who is another parent taking up her children and they're beating her down. Which one are we? Well, which two are we talking about? Which one is first?
They're all crazy.
They are, Pastor Jeff. They are. I told you have they lost their mind Monday? What's going on?
Well, I mean, you just pick one. We can talk about it. Which one? You pick it. Because they all.
Okay, let's talk about the ones who's going to take over the Haitian island of 100,000 people, Pastor Jeff.
Yeah, I heard about that one, man. That's some real stuff there, man. But I think it's the Trump climate, man, that's just making these folks just feel like they could just do some crazy stuff. Come on. I mean, think about that. They're gonna kill all those people, take over the island. I mean, who comes up with that? But that just shows what's really in the heart, of America. Really in the hearts of a lot of these people. And Trump is just making it where they just feel free to just do this. I think it's fear of the black man. They fear we're awakening to who we are and where we actually came from and how we, I guess, ruled. And they fearing that we're going to, know who we are and put them in a position. I think. I don't know.
I don't understand that either, Pastor Jeff. This island has 100,000 people. Now they have, for a whole year, they are training, not just themselves training, but they've gone to Washington, D.C. and recruited homeless people to be mercenaries so they could take over this island. Now talk about lost your mind.
Yeah. I mean, just look at the lengths that they would go.
Yes.
Look what they're dreaming about, I heard somebody talk about every time we as a people tried to have our own, build our own towns and everything else, over the last, 100 and something years, they've always tore it down, blew us up, made sure, I think the fear of us is just so deep that they want to annihilate us off the face of the earth.
We did a story not that long ago about that, where it was on a Friday too. I don't know if you were on that day, but we did a story about that, about how, we tried to have our own. And every time, like you said, they're always coming to now destroy what we have. You have your own. What are you worried about? What are you worried about? So I don't know. I don't know. We've got, I think this is Miss, oh my goodness, Miss Herlima. I might be wrong, but I wasn't worried about the Haiti news. Haiti is a country that won their independence from slavery against a major country. So two guys thinking about taking it over. Ha ha, that's a joke to me. Yeah, it's two people thinking about taking it over. It's a joke. But my thing is, I'm glad they didn't actually start the process. That's the scary part of them actually starting the process. So thank God that they didn't get very far with this particular.
How did they catch him?
That's what I was looking for. Oh, that's Darrell. Hey, Darrell. Good morning. I don't know. I was looking for that in the article, Pastor Jeff, because I was really, really curious. When they were recruiting people, did somebody actually flip and tell? They don't say. So I am very, very, very interested in how they ended up catching these people as well. Yeah, because this is crazy. This is crazy. All righty. We've got one more story. Which one you want, Pastor Jeff? You pick one now. I pick one for you. You pick the second one.
We could talk about that person that tried, burn his parents alive.
Oh. What's going on, Pastor Jeff? You don't want to take care of your parents that bad that you burn them alive?
Listen, this whole generation of kids, get me. I asked my daughter the other day. I said, Daddy might have to wear some Pampers one day. You might have to change his Pampers. She said, "Oh no, I'm not doing that. You better make sure you stay healthy." And I said, well, I changed your Pampers, and you boobled all over the bed and did this and diarrhea and she was just, the thought of her have to do that for me. She was like, "Oh no, Daddy, I'm sorry. You got other kids."
Let them assume that responsibility.
Yeah,
wow.
They want everything, but don't want to give nothing.
Yeah.
They don't. And it seems like the love, these children don't love their parents. These parents, loving these kids, but these kids are not reciprocating. It's like they're I don't know, their love is wax cold.
Yeah.
I don't
really
know.
Weird. Very weird. Very weird. But he is 44 years old. So you can only imagine how long this has been going on, Pastor Jeff.
Yeah. They spoiled that kid.
Yep.
And then now he's rotten, entitled. That's what these kids feel like. They're entitled. All of that.
Absolutely, Pastor Jeff. Thanks for joining us today. Thank you so much. Let's say good morning to our brother Ainsley. Good morning, brother Ainsley. Can't hear you. Can't hear you.
Still can't hear me?
I can hear you now. We can hear you now. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing all right.
Thank you so much for joining us. I done got you met up out your beds.
Yeah, it's all good.
Much.
Hey, Jeff, he's exercising for me too. Go ahead, bro.
Oh my goodness. All right, brother Ainsley, which two stories we talking about today?
Oh man, they all are good. They all are good. But I think the first one, I think those So those two stupid white boys, then they're gonna get a sailboat and go to Haiti and take it over.
Crazy.
You know what I say? Let them go ahead and do it.
Okay.
Let them go ahead. Let them find out what's going to happen. Let them go there with a sailboat. I mean, I don't know what sailboat that can go from the United States to Haiti, really, on a sailboat.
Yeah.
No engine in it. I really don't see how that's going to happen. And it's amazing how you say they did their homework. And, you know, to me, if Pastor Jeff is right, I think this whole climate with Trump, you know, a lot of these people feel like emboldened, you know, to just try to, they're just showing out their racist ways, or we just going to take over a whole nation, a whole Caribbean island.
Yeah.
Like there's not going to be any blowback. It's going to be real easy. Oh, I'm going to get a few homeless people, not no veterans, some homeless people.
Yeah.
We're going to hop in a sailboat and sail over, and we're going to take over this island. Not understanding how resilient the Haitian people really are. So I would say, let them go. Go ahead. Yo, go ahead. Go have fun. Go ahead and do that. And we would never have to deal with this all over again. We won't have to waste any taxpayer money and prison time and feeding them and nothing like that. I say, go ahead, have fun.
Yeah, with all of the, you know, we did a couple of stories earlier this year, Ames, about the gangs and crazy people there. And you really want to go up against, you haven't done enough homework. That's the thing.
I'm like, yeah, so let your ignorance, you know, face the accountability of your ignorance. Go ahead and try it. Go. I say, go ahead. I said, I'm in jail. Here's a sailboat. Give him a sailboat. Go ahead. We ain't got to worry about him no more.
Oh my, they'll be like Gilligan's Island. They'll get over there and they'll never come back.
That's it. We never hear from him again. That's all right. It's all good.
All righty. What other story we talking about, Brother Ains?
Oh man. What crossed my mind though? I think the lady, now I'll say she the one, she had to use the bathroom.
I can't hear you. You're breaking up. You're muted. Okay, we lost Brother Ainsley. All right, we got a check-in from Miss Herlima. Good morning. That is you. I know that's you now. Good morning, Miss Herlima. We got a comment from Serge. They're going to go over to Haiti and die right away. They keep forgetting why Americans exist. If it wasn't for Haiti, America wouldn't be free either. All right, go ahead and get that history lesson. All right, while Brother Ainsley is trying to get back on, let's say good morning to our brother Al. Good morning, Brother Al.
Chop of the morning, chop of the morning to you. I need Pastor Jeff to go a little faster. I need you to go a little faster, brother.
I won't be able to talk if I go faster.
Oh, all right, brother. Thank you for getting up, Brother Al, with us this morning. What you got for us? What two stories?
Well, you know, I love the kids, so we got to go with the kids' story. The first one with them jumping the daughter. You know, it's so sad that these kids will take something and make it a fad. I sit there and I watch it. They know it's wrong. And, you know, like I said, working with kids so long and still working with kids, they'll sit there and know that it's wrong, but because somebody else do it, they'll do it. You know, and I say the parent, the daughter that got jumped, her mother did the whole situation wrong. Her mother coming in there, you can't come in talking to a mob. They already angry, they jump your door. You come in and say, okay, wait a minute, then they jumped on you. You supposed to went in there swinging. No question. You jumped my child, I'm coming in swinging. That's my talk. Because they already angry, they riled up, they not going to talk to you.
Yeah.
So you should have got you a stick or a club or something and went in there swinging. That's how you talk to them.
This is crazy, Brother Al. In between ages of 11 and 15 years old.
I just hope and pray that they don't try to get me or you, Pastor Steph, because we're gonna be on the news. I know we're gonna be on the news. You can see it now with you with a hood on your head.
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have arrested Pastor Steph because of hurting some children. Filmed at 11.
Yes.
Yeah,
it's
crazy. And then the other story is the kid that killed his parents, like because you didn't want to take care of them no more. And you know what happens is and you know, people get mad at me and I don't care. I speak it because I see it and I lived it. You know, that's our fault as parents. You know, because we get so caught up that we want our kids to have what we didn't have. We want our kids to have a better life. Where we get to the point where we let our kids just get away with murder. Oh, you can stay here. You ain't got to pay no bills. I got it. Oh, you need this? Okay, you know what? Let me take out my rent money and give you this so you can go get those sneakers or you can go do this. That's our fault instead of showing these kids, hey, listen, this is life. I'm not going to always be here to take care of you. You know what I'm saying? I got a friend right now. Her son is 32 years old. She refused to let this boy go out and live on his own. She refused. Wow. You know, I was talking to her the other day and she was like, all right, well, okay, Al, I'm going to get ready to go because I got to go iron his clothes. I'm like, what? Yeah, I just came from the laundry. So these are things that you know, and unfortunately, and I understand women have to take care of the kid because sometimes you got some no good fathers that not around. Then you got some women who run away to father. But they are destroying our male population because they don't know how to be men. They don't know how to be men. And I told her, I said, what you're doing is raising your son to be the same type of man that you just told me you don't like. Oh, men are maybe mama's boy, they don't want, but you're raising your son to be the same way.
Right.
So the enemy is after our children, man, and we not helping. We're not teaching them nothing. We just let them do whatever. You know, and man, it's crazy. But it's so sad that something so bad becomes a fad. You know, like you didn't see what, and like we said, if these kids would have got arrested or something would have happened, then it won't become a fad because the other kids would be like, oh man, I'm gonna get in trouble if I do that. But slap on the wrist. Kids like, okay, we can do that too. Just don't bring it to New York. It's gonna be a situation.
Right. I'm just blown away by this stuff that they're just doing, and they're perpetrating the same thing over and over and over again, and they just haven't met the right people. They just ain't met the right ones.
And you know, crazy past stuff. The sad thing is that the social media, especially TikTok. I sit there and I watch these kids do stuff. And I'm like, where did that come from? Oh, I saw on TikTok. They had a thing where they were stealing the these tags off the Nike book bag. One kid came on TikTok and did that, and we had to have a town meeting at the school because it got so bad. I'm like, wow, you not know that was wrong? Taking somebody's stuff?
Wow, it's crazy. It's crazy, Brother Al. Yeah. Crazy. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Let's catch our brother Ainsley one more time to get that last story. All right, Brother Ainsley, what's your second story?
All right. Can you hear me?
Yep.
All right, cool. Happy to Pastor Jeff. I'm supposed to be still exercising. You gotta get in there. The second story. I think the lady who had used the Uber driver, she just pulled up somebody's yard and stuff like that. I gotta say, you know, for years ago, you know, I was, you know, had to hustle up some money, so I used to drive Uber and Lyft. And not to condone it, but I definitely understand where it's coming from. Because there was a couple of times, I gotta admit, driving in New York, I was way out on Long Island somewhere. And, you know, when you're doing, at the time, when you were driving Uber or Lyft, you don't know how far, you don't know where you're going until you actually start the ride, right? So I accept the ride, and it's for a good long distance, Long Island. I don't know where I'm at. I'm totally dependent on the GPS navigation to get me, you know, to get to the destination. It's late at night and whatnot. But you know, I gotta go. I gotta use the restroom. And it's because really at the time also I realized my glucose levels was getting out of whack. And so I made it to the destination, you know. But it's like in that kind of moment, what do you do? I mean, because it's like I don't know where I'm at. I don't know. There's not like a department store, like a Walmart I can run into, or any kind of, you know, any available restaurant. I'm in a residential area, you know. And so I definitely understand the situation. Now, what I did was, it was late at night, so I act like I had to go into the trunk for something. So I opened up the trunk. I kept the lights off, and just kind of relieve myself from behind the car, really quick, and then close the.
The Pastor Steph face.
I wasn't ready for this story.
So I understand the situation. You got to be in it to really appreciate it.
No, listen, Ainsley, we have all driven a long, far distance, and as a person with diabetes, I definitely get it. Because when you gotta go, you gotta go. There's no warning, no nothing. You just gotta go. So I definitely get it. But in somebody's driveway,
But it's different because when you drive on your own, you kind of know you're setting the tone, like where you're going. When you're doing the Uber Lyft, that's not really, you don't know where you're going, you don't know how long it's going to be there, and you're going to places where you're not familiar with. You know, it's not like, okay, well, I know there's a restroom like 5 minutes away or 10 minutes away. It's like, I don't know where it is, and what it looks like is nowhere to be found.
I had a lady do that in front of my house a couple of months ago. She had the Uber to stop right in front of my house, got out, squatted by the tree, and peed. And I got it all on camera. And I went out there, stood there, and looked at her. She hiked up her dress, squatted right there by the tree in front of my house, and started peeing. I guess she had to go that bad, and the Uber was waiting for her.
Hey, you know, I hear what you're saying, Andy, but I'm with Pastor Steph. Yeah, it all happens. It happened to all of us. But to go in somebody's personal yard and do that is insane. I can stop by a tree. I don't care anyway. I'm not going to nobody's personal yard.
No, I ain't going to nobody's driveway though.
That's what we talking about. If you come in my driveway, it's gonna be a situation. Not only it's gonna be a situation. I look out the window and see you use the bathroom in my yard.
No, I ain't doing that, Al. Nah, I'm black, going to my neighbor, real, probably white. Oh no, I ain't going in the driveway, but right on the roadway, yeah.
Like I said, we've all gotten stuck, and it's like you gotta go, but you're in someone's driveway. You have to pass.
I don't get with.
Right, you had to have passed some desolate area, or some woods or something that you could have actually relieved yourself. But on somebody's driveway, you have lost your mind. This is lost your mind Monday. I'm telling you.
I'd be like Biggie Smalls. There'd be a lot of slow singing, flower bringing.
Oh my goodness gracious. Well, all right, thanks for getting up with us, Ainsley. Let's talk to Pastor KL and see what he got going on. I'm scared to hear his story.
I know he got some.
All right, Pastor Jeff, you can go faster now until it's your turn.
Come on in, Pastor KL.
Good morning. This is crazy. Listen, fellas, I don't know if y'all see it, but the Bible is revealing itself. It says the first shall be last, and the last shall be first. We're always last, and now we're first. Listen, we take it over. It's due time. Hey, we take it over.
Oh my goodness gracious. All righty. What two stories you talking about, Pastor KL?
Well, okay, let's start off with Christopher Columbus. You know what I mean? Who's riding in the Pina trying to go to Haiti. I'm not understanding that at all. You know what I mean? I know. And then you say they're homeless. Where they get the sailboat from?
No,
I'm just trying to
they're
huh?
not homeless. They recruited. They went to Washington D.C. to recruit some homeless people to help.
Oh man, they some man, they some good peoples. They trying to discover. Listen, Haiti is not what they want to discover. Let me tell you that. You know what I'm saying? Because them Negroes over there, I'm scared of Haiti. You know, and I'm closer to their color than them. No, that's not where you want to go party at. The party's not over there. Because if you go over there, the roof would be on fire. You know what I mean?
Oh gosh. What other story we talking about, Pastor KL?
Now let's talk about these kids killing their parents. It's so funny because I had this conversation yesterday with my two oldest. You know, I said, well, if I get sick and whatever, what's gonna happen? Now my son, he is financially stable. I'm gonna have the best group home or nursing home that you can possibly have. My daughter, she don't care. She gonna take care of me. She want me to move in with her now. If I cough, she think I'm dying. I'm like, did you hear something? She think I'm dying. My daughter had the nerve to ask me the question yesterday, and I don't know, fellas, if y'all ever had this question. My daughter said, "Dad, would you take a bullet for me?" I said, "Courtney, there was a time I would have took a bullet, put it in the gun, and shot you. You know, but I ain't taking no bullet for you. I might take a slap, but I ain't taking no bullet."
Yeah. Kids ain't what they used to be, Pastor KL. Kids ain't
No, no.
oh my goodness.
You gonna take a bullet from me? Yeah, I'll take it across the street for you.
You know
Where you
what?
want me to put it at? Where you want me to take it to? In the bedroom?
I can't. Oh my goodness gracious. All righty. We've got some relationship conversation for you men. So they are listing things that men do when they are no longer attracted to their wives. Things husbands do when they are no longer attracted to their wives. The first thing they say is they avoid conversations about the future. Pastor Jeff, you know, when they say when husbands are no longer interested in attracted to their wives, they don't want to have conversations about the future. What say you?
I can't really get deep into that because I'm still attracted to mine, you know.
Okay.
But I can imagine if you don't want to know more, you don't want a future with her. So we not going to talk about the future because there is no future. The future is they probably dreamed about putting us 6 feet under or something, you know.
Okay. With the kids. Okay. They trying to bury you with the kids.
Yeah.
All right, brother Al. What say you? They say, you know, that men don't want to have conversations about the future when he's no longer interested in his wife.
You see how quick Pastor Jeff cleared his side up? Well, I'm still attracted to mine. I'm a follow Pastor Jeff. I'm still attracted to mine too. But yeah, I can imagine if I'm not attracted to you anymore, what we talking about the future for? Because the future look like it ain't gonna be me and you no more. That's what the future looking like. So, you know, it's nothing to talk about for the future. I'm not attracted to you anymore.
Okay. What about you, brother Ainsley?
Yeah, I'm going on the brother Jeff bandwagon too. But seriously though, I mean, I don't get the question because it's like if the husband is not attracted to the wife, more than likely she ain't attracted to you no longer either. You know, so it go both ways. And relationship, marriage, this ain't like, you know, you're talking to marriage. You ain't talking like boyfriend or girlfriend. If you made a commitment, you know, it's gonna be times you probably don't want to be bothered with her and stuff like that. But you made a commitment to make it work nonetheless, as best as you can. So there's gonna be times when it's like, you ain't probably feeling her like that. But being that Christ is the center of everything you're supposed to be doing together, that's what ties us together. And sometimes it may not be wholeheartedly there, so to speak. But to me, that really shouldn't be a part of a conversation, because communication is key. So, I mean, I got a problem with, you saying not attracted, because then you got to look, to me, you got to look in the mirror. Are you attractive? So.
Okay, all right. What about you, Pastor KL? He doesn't want to, he avoids conversations about the future.
I avoid coming home. Well, we ain't nothing to talk about. What's the conversation? Ain't you got all biblical, but when you unattractive to someone, the furthest thing you thinking about is God. You know what I mean? When you feel like it's done, you come back to God. You know what I mean? You can fix it. But in the beginning, that's the furthest thing that's on your mind is, what would Jesus do? This woman yelling and screaming and not cooking and not cleaning, and you talking about what Jesus would do? There's room at the cross.
What in the world? Okay. All right. They say that when a man is no longer interested, a husband is no longer attracted to their wife, they stop initiating physical contact. All right. Brother Al, it's on you.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm not attracted no more. I'm turned off. So it's like, you sleep on your side of the bed, I sleep on my side, or I sleep on the couch, and you sleep. No, I pay for the bed. You sleep on the couch, I sleep on the bed. Once you unattracted, it's like everything goes out the window now.
Okay. Brother Ainsley.
Yeah, I agree with Brother Al. I'll probably do the same thing. I might even come to bed at all. You're right. I'm gonna stay on the sofa, and or vice versa. Nah, yeah, I agree with Brother Al. I might even come to bed at all.
Wow. All right. Since we got Pastor KL, I don't know what his status is right now. He's probably transitioning to another location. Pastor Jeff, help me with this one. So what happens? Because I want to stay here for a little bit. What happens when you just be, and you say you're attracted to, your wife. So we know this ain't you, but we know this ain't you. But you're unattracted. What makes you now unattracted to your wife? Let's talk about that for a little bit. What would make you unattracted to your wife?
I mean, people change. I think about my daughter's mother. I don't want to make my eldest daughter upset, but I told my eldest daughter the other day, I said, I thank God I ain't married your mama. She was one way when we were 17, and in 18 and 19 when we had you. I said, but she's like honestly, she's a nice person now, but she's like 3 times whatever size she was then. And I mean, she can't get in the doorway now.
Oh, Pastor Jeff.
I'm just saying. My daughter got upset at me, but I told her, I said, listen, girl, you better be careful, because you get your genes from both of us, and you hitting 40, and your mama get ready to hit close to 60, and she's a big one, And so that I was just picturing, if I was married to her, watching that progression. I don't know, but see, the thing is, I love my wife, so I don't love her mother. So maybe that love would have kept me attractive. I don't know, but that's a whole lot of love. You know what I'm saying?
And that's where I'm going here. And see, I hate to talk about this with Pastor KL. This just, I wish I could just skip him altogether. I do. I ain't gonna lie. We've been friends for a long time, and I did this part of the conversation is just not a good one for he and I. But I gotta in all fairness, I gotta let him go ahead and talk. So I'm just gonna close my ears.
Hallelujah. Let me just say, I love the Lord. You heard my cry. but yeah, Pastor Steph know where I'm going, and my brother Ainsley know where I'm going. For years, if I date, or even when I got married, I meet you at a size 2. You can only get to a size 6. If you go past 6, we gonna write up some papers. We got listen. If I'm comfortable in the queen size bed, and now I feel like I'm being pushed off the bed and I need a king, whatever get after the king. You know what I mean? So well, yeah, but then you're gonna need a Florida king and a Japan king too after a while if you keep on letting her get fluffy. And then the other thing, I had one of the fellas was saying, well, I'll go on the couch and I'll go, somewhere else. Listen, in my father's house, there's many mansions. In my house, there's many bedrooms. Because my mother told me that you got to prepare such for a time like this, that she might spread. And listen, I can't be comfortable. I'm fat, you fat. That's not gonna work. That's not gonna work. That's just sweat. Nobody wants sweat in the bedroom, just laying there. Just laying there? You sweating? No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
All right. So for the record,
you can set a face with this
only person I did not know 25 years ago is Pastor Jeff. And I'm believing when I saw some of Pastor Jeff's pictures on Facebook 25 years ago, Pastor Jeff, that's why he's on this treadmill right now.
Yeah. I'm trying to keep the wife attracted to me.
That's right. So for Brother Ainsley, Pastor KL, and Brother Al, 25 years ago, they were not this size. So how do you grow outward and yet she can't grow outwardly?
Because I'm Jay-Z and she Beyonce.
Who you want to answer that one?
I want everybody to answer.
All right, okay, put it this way. All right. Me and Brother KL, we've been friends for forever, right?
Ever,
right? It's clear. He like his size up to size 6, maybe 8. I'm everything above that. So size ain't really all right. So to me, you know what I'm saying? So that ain't my thing. It ain't the size. That's the size thing won't necessarily make me be unattractive. It may be, an attitude, actions and stuff like that. So
okay, all righty. What about you, Brother Al?
All right, well, I didn't get to answer the first one, but I tied it all in together. Well, it's not always the physical good, because a person can gain weight and not be sloppy. You know what I'm saying? You can put on a little pounds and you're not sloppy and all messed up. My problem is the attitude, the arguing. That's just a turn off for me. You know what I'm saying? That, and then like I said, you get all big and sloppy, and like I said, we all not how we used to be back then. If I feel a certain way, hey baby, look, let's go work out together. Like me and Tamika, we work out together. We go off our walk, ride our bike. You know what I'm saying? Let's do this together. Because again, like Ainsley said earlier, you're not boyfriend and girlfriend no more. We have a marriage. So you know what? You gain some weight, I gain some weight. Baby, let's work out together. But the thing that would get me would be that attitude. How your attitude didn't change. You always arguing with me, and you always, that right there, turn off. We may have to pull out the papers if we can't get that fixed.
Okay. All right, Pastor KL. you're not who you were 25 years ago.
But this is true. But when you met me, I was big, and you decided it was okay for you. I've lost tremendous weight since being married. But when I married you, I was big. So it wasn't like when after I said I do, I ate it all. No, we didn't go to the buffet after the marriage. You know what I mean? I was already a big guy. So listen, the same person I'm attracted to, I need you to stay there. If you got me by cooking, you know what I mean, and then all of a sudden we get married, I don't cook no more. No, that's a problem. If you were sweet and now you got an attitude, my thing got big, so it's already hard. You're hard to look at. Now I gotta hear you too. I gotta hear your attitude too. No, that's not fair. I'm sorry.
Okay. So you said that she's changed, but you haven't changed.
Well, now I've changed the other way. I've gotten slimmer.
Okay.
I'm sexy now.
Attitude stinks.
Huh?
Your attitude stinks.
My attitude is holy and acceptable unto me.
All righty, guys. They say that when husbands become unattractive to their wives, they become secretive. Is there any truth to that, Brother Al? I'll start with you.
Let's say that again. I'm sorry. Say that again.
When husbands become unattracted to their wives, they become secretive.
Yeah, I guess you do have some men shut down, which you shouldn't, because again, this is not your girlfriend, it's your wife. You should be able to communicate, but I think that does happen. Like he's unattractive. Like let me not. Like our parents always say, you ain't got nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all. So I believe that does happen.
Okay, all righty. Brother Ainsley, you become secretive. Is there any truth to that?
I don't think so, really, man. I mean, you shouldn't, because you're supposed to be able to communicate, and if you're not going to address the issue, I guess then you would shut down. But if you want to address the issue and stuff like that, again, good communication. You got to talk up, or maybe the wife, you think everything is cool. She might think that it's a problem unless you communicate it. So, yeah, I think you should. There shouldn't be nothing should be secretive.
Okay. Pastor KL?
I can see how it can be, but I think those are for cowards, who don't want to address the issue. I mean, listen, if you're unattractive, and you're married, you should address the issues and say, hey, we slipping off somewhere. What's going on? Like Al said, maybe we can go out and work out together. You know what I mean? There has to be a conversation. I think what happens is that men, they become unattractive and they go try to find that person to fill the void. They don't want to leave their wife because they love their wife, but their wife is not giving them that eye candy that they can probably get somewhere else. So they live a double life.
Okay. Pastor Jeff, they say he becomes secretive.
I'm being honest, it's hard for me, really, to get into the mindset of not being attracted to my wife. She ain't nowhere around, so I ain't doing it for her. I'm just really being honest. I can imagine you become secretive because generally, if the man is not attractive no more, he's probably attracted to somebody else, and he's probably having secret, conversations, and if he's not, affairs and everything else. So of course you become secretive because you can't let your wife know what you're doing, and you don't want her to see it on you, I guess, or feel that. So you would have to become secretive.
Okay. So I'm gonna put it out there. I'm gonna put it out there for you guys. Pastor Jeff, I'm gonna save you till last because you said you're having a hard time fixating in your head here. But I'm going to leave you guys to just put out there what happens, something we haven't spoken about already. It's on you. What happens when when a husband becomes unattracted to his wife? What's some of the things that can happen? One thing. One.
Ladies, how you talk to me?
One. So since you're the first one to open up your mouth, Brother Al, go ahead. You get the first one.
When you're unattracted to, I said, what started to happen is start looking elsewhere. I think that's where the cheating starts to come in. That's one.
Would you care to elaborate, Brother Al?
Oh, right. So, okay. So, like what Pastor Jeff said, okay, the wife is not the eye candy no more. Sometimes people get settled. When I met you, you came to bed dressing all sexy and stuff. Now you come to bed with a moo-moo on. You know what I'm saying? You got the bonnet, your hair ain't done no more. So now you start, okay, well, I'm not attracted to her anymore. You start looking elsewhere now. Oh, I see, wow, she's pretty. And so that's where the cheating starts. And you start saying, okay, she don't want to dress up for me, or she don't want to be pretty for me. What she won't do, somebody else will.
Okay. Brother Ainsley, what's one thing that happens? I may come around again, Brother Al. What's one thing that'll happen if a husband becomes unattracted to his wife?
Or one thing that can happen, or one thing that causes it?
Well, you know what? I'll leave it up to you.
All right, okay. I'll say one thing that can cause it. I mean, like you talk about say wife's attitude. How about her just disposition change? Like perhaps this ain't my situation. It ain't me. Because I'm good. I gotta put that out just in case my wife watches later on.
We all got your PSAs.
Okay. So say disposition change. Like, all right. Things like we used to do, she don't want to do no more, or she just gets caught up more in her own interests and is not paying attention to the marriage, the things we used to do, you know what I'm saying? So as we become less of a partnership than when things seem like we just roommates in the same house, so to speak, that will cause some problems, so. And with that, I guess a man who doesn't address it, as Brother KO said, somebody who's weak-minded. And I know generally as men, listen, we don't like to argue. I don't like to argue. Sometimes I may know, this is real. Sometimes I may know I'm right. I'll just leave it alone because and I ain't going to go there. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes you have to speak and address serious issues. Address issues before they become bigger issues. And yeah.
Okay. All right, Pastor Jeff, I'll come to you next.
Okay, well, I would think that he would get maybe real caught up in pornography and fantasizing about other women, so he'll go into a world of looking at, I guess, pictures and masturbating, because he's not attracted. But I think the main thing will happen is he won't even be able to keep an erection, because he's not attracted to her no more. The sex life would be dead, because he don't want her,
What do you do when you get to that point? If you get to that point and she's really unattractive and you're married, do you really just check out? Where you can't get an erection, you're now off in pornography world, or now you're looking at other women. Is this just the only thing you do is check out? I'm asking.
Put a bag over her head and put Beyonce on your mind.
Pastor Jeff sound like KL.
Watch your mouth, sir. Watch your mouth.
But I mean, it doesn't come to that. I fantasize about being with someone else in order not to cheat. But am I really cheating if I'm fantasizing about someone else?
I think it does come to that. I mean, I've been with girlfriends that I was not attracted to no more, and I started putting other faces on them, and wishing I was with somebody else. And when I was with them, to keep the relationship, I was thinking about that other person. So it does come to that. It will come to that if the attraction is gone.
Wow. What about the rest of you? Pastor KL? Hold on. Let me go to Pastor KL since I didn't complete the round.
All right.
With him.
Yeah. I mean, it can't go that way. It really, really can't go that way. Should you do that? No. But I was thinking when he was asking, what can be one of the things that could be also a turn off? If I met you in church, and now down the line you too busy, you can't go to church no more. You know what I mean? And I see that you don't have the same prayer life. You don't have the same worship. Every time we get into a rut, we ain't talking about God. We ain't talking about praying. All these things that I was attracted to you from a spiritual person, now you just natural. You just worldly. That's a turn off. I hear all the fellas talking about God first, but that should be the biggest turn off. If we go to church every Sunday, every Wednesday, every Friday, and now your job, I can't go, I'm going out with the girlfriends, or I'm doing something with the kids. That's a turn off. Right there, the house cannot be leveled. We're automatically, saying not yoked, unyoked. So yeah, I mean, at some point, for me, this is just for me. I'll go to the Father, I'll pray, I'll suggest counseling. But if you denounce all that, then you gotta go.
Okay. Brother Ainsley, I think you were going to answer the other question.
Yeah, I forgot what I was going to say now.
This is what happens when you deal with
Ainsley the one who left church. Ainsley the one who left church. That's why he forgot.
This is what happens when you deal with the senior citizen men.
Wow.
But you know what? What Brother KL said, I know a situation that has happened in the past with other people is the reverse. Say a couple are together and say the more likely say the wife now say she gives her life over to the Lord and she has, and the husband is like, it's not the person who I married. This person now is going to church. Now this person now is going to prayer meeting. And somebody, and the husband has a problem. And because of that, they're no longer together. And I've known that happen also quite a few times with certain people as well.
Okay. Well, I'm it's sad that for men, because if I were to ask the ladies this question, they would, it would be different. We're not as turned off so easily when it comes to physical things. I mean, you guys have brought up, disposition and attitude and no longer going to church and stuff like that. But for men, a lot of it has to do with the eye. And my concern comes in when you just don't have the eye is no longer, tantalized by what she looks like anymore. She's had 2-3 kids for you, and now she's put on weight, and now she's no longer attractive, and now you're off to the races, and now the whole marriage is destroyed. So it's not the same for women as it is for men. A lot of this has to do with the physical side. And again, like a couple of you have mentioned, we're not talking about girlfriend and boyfriend. We're talking about marriages. And how do you come back from that? I mean, it's pretty simple, but it's not simple. It's really on you.
Well, I was speaking. I'm sorry. I was speaking from two sides. Because again, I see it as you married, that's something totally thing. You done made a commitment under God now, you know, and you should be able to work it out. You should be able to go to counseling and things like that. Then you got other ones, like I have friends who've done that, just completely checked out. And I'm like, bro, that's your wife. Yo, I don't care. She arguing with me all the time. She doing. I'm like, it's different. You know, for me, it's different between girlfriend and boyfriend, husband and wife. You know, you should communicate. Hey, listen, you know, I feel this way. You know, like, look, this, and be honest. You know, that's something me and Tamika do all the time. We promise each other we're gonna be honest, regardless. And you got to be prepared to hear how that person feel and accept that it's okay. What can I do to make? What can I do, sweetie, to make this better? You know. And then you got some men who checks out. Like I said, I can picture Kale saying, this woman coming up and saying, hey, baby, go ahead. Does this dress make me look fat? And Kale saying, no, it's the fat that makes you look fat. But you, as husband and wife, you should, and you right, Pastor Steph. Women don't check out as fast as men. They don't. And the men be ready to like, all right, I ain't got to deal with this nonsense. You know what I'm saying? So that's why you got to put God in your relationship.
Right? It has to be the head. Pastor Jeff, you were going to say?
Well, I was just saying, we have to, if you want to get spiritual about it, I mean, people do change, and you might go through times where you're not as attractive, but you really got to fight for that. Fight for that attraction, and if you know you starting to get turned off, then you need to steer that woman into how to turn you back on. You understand? That's the fight in a marriage. And me and my wife, we go work out together. I don't tell her she putting on a little too much. I show her. Come on, baby. Let's go walk today. Let's go work out today. Because a woman is a man's glory. You got to understand that. There's a difference. Your women are our glory. We feel good when you look good. We could be fat, ugly, everything, but we want you to look good because you're my glory. You the statement that I'm doing well. You know what I'm saying? So you got to keep it. You got to fight for it, women. Y'all do the best you can. I don't care if you had 2 or 3 kids. We understand that. But listen, you got to do what you got to do because you are glory.
Wow. Okay. I don't care if you had 2 or 3 kids. Wow. Interesting. Interesting. I don't care if you had 2 or 3 kids. Wow.
I tell my wife all the time, she wanted them kids, not me.
Wow. Oh my. All right, men. Thank you for giving us some clarity.
Hey, Pastor Steph, don't act like that. You invited us.
I sure did. And I picked the topic. The double standard is amazing. The double standard is amazing. I don't care if you had the 2, 3 kids part. Is we gonna sign off on that one. Thank you so much for your contribution into today's conversation. I'm leaving the rest for my closing, and we pray you have a blessed day. Thanks, guys, for getting up early.
Oh yeah.
All right. Take care.
All right, have a blessed day. Woo! I got some time to think about my closing while we kind of turn it over to the switch with Shantice. Let's say good morning to Shantice. Good morning, Shantice.
Good morning, Pastor Steph. How are you?
Child, I got one headache.
I know.
Woo-wee. What you got for us today?
So today we have the switch with Shantice, where we make the switch from the streets to our godly seat. And I'm a little hung up there over a couple of those statements as well. But we are going to get into our switch tip of the week. We are up to switch tip 234, y'all. And our switch tip for this week is let go of the complaints. I want to make sure, of course, we got to hit up these definitions. We have to hit up these definitions. Complaining, To complain is a statement that a situation is unsatisfactory or unacceptable. The biblical definition of complaining is sinfully grumbling or murmuring out of discontent. Sinful complaining is a serious issue as it shows a lack of trust in God and can result in severe consequences. And of course, when we think about complaining, biblically, we always think about the Israelites, right? If you do not know the story of God rescuing and freeing the Israelites from Egypt and their 11-day journey turning into their 40-year journey because of the complaining, make sure before you start getting into conversations and gossip and watching TV and reality shows or whatever unnecessary things you plan on doing for today, start reading that because it's real and it's serious. And it led into a huge consequence. There were consequences along the way, but the biggest and most highlighted consequence is their journey in the wilderness was only supposed to be for 11 days, and it ended up being 40 years because all they did was complain and murmur. Murmuring means to complain or grumble in a low voice, representing a lack of faith and a rebellion against God or his leaders. And again, with reading that definition, it makes me think about the situation during the Israelites being freed from Egypt when Miriam, that was her name, right? Moses' sister, and Aaron was complaining about Moses being the only one that God was conversing with. And she felt some type of way that God was only speaking directly to Moses, that she started questioning Moses, like, oh, so you the only person that God's talking to? Yeah, he was. But she had her own set of consequences that she had to pay for. And that was part of the journey being lengthened because they had to stop the journey in order for Marion to deal with the consequences God had to hand to her. So when you think about complaining, always make that synonymous with consequence because it always is. And I had to highlight two verses that are memory verses for me. Again, like I told y'all in past Switch Tips, I have never been impressed with people who are able to say Matthew 9:6 says this and Genesis 1:2 says that. I've been impressed with if you can break the word down and interpret it properly. So anytime I tell y'all I have memory verses for myself, it's because I needed it to check myself in the Lord. Okay, I need these verses to make sure I stop doing the stupid petty things that are gonna have me on the opposite side of being godly. So Philippians 2, verses 14 through 15, and I'm actually gonna read it in the Amplified version, and it reads, "Do everything without murmuring or questioning the providence of God, so that you may prove yourselves to be blameless and guiltless, innocent and uncontaminated, children of God without blemish in the midst of a morally crooked and spiritually perverted generation, among whom you are seen as bright lights, beacons shining out clearly in the world of darkness." So what do these two verses mean? Let me break this down for you real quick. No matter what we do throughout our lives, throughout our days, do everything without complaining and grumbling. Do everything without representing a lack of faith and a rebellion against God and or his leaders. Well, if you're going against leaders, you're going against God. So God and his leaders. So what does that mean real quick, right? No matter what you have to face today, face it. Go to God. Talk to him about it, pray about it. You're supposed to be praying to God before you start your day anyway, so already that would help to cut down or cut out altogether the complaining and the grumbling. God, I don't know what you have set for me today. I know what my plans are, but please replace your plan with my plans so that I'm already content with my day. I don't know what I'm gonna have to face today, God, but just please help to prepare me for it. Please help me through it. That should be a standard part of your morning prayer, right? Because you don't know what you're going to have to face. You may wake up feeling great and then something may smack you at 10 a.m. that you were not prepared for. And now you done go on the rest of your day grumbling and complaining, which then helps you go against God. Because if the first thing you do is complain, if the first thing you do is show discontent, that shows a lack of faith. And there's a verse in the Bible that says it is impossible to please God without faith. There goes the rebellion part. So already you're putting yourself against God and what he's able to do for you when you start the complaining. We're already living in a contaminated world, in a morally crooked and a morally perverted world. These streets are disgusting. They're filthy. As God's children, he needs and wants us to be the exact opposite of that. So when we complain, when we sit and grumble, when we sit and go against God and our thoughts and we show discontentment, we are showing that we are contaminated like the streets, we are crooked like the streets, and we are perverted like the streets. He needs to show us for who we really are. We are his beacons of light here on earth. We are supposed to be mirroring, who Jesus is, what God's word is, what it says. It's not enough that we just read his word. It's not enough that we just speak his word. We have to live it. So how am I speaking and living out God's word if I'm complaining? What's the definition of murmuring again? To complain or grumble in a low voice, representing a lack of faith. So now in a low voice, you're whispering like God can't hear you, he hears everything, right? Representing a lack of faith and a rebellion against God and his leaders. So when you complain to and about your leaders, your pastors, your elders, your ministers, your evangelists, and let me tell you, all right, God has had to deal with me a whole lot these past couple of months about complaining. Even when I go to him, yes, he says, come to me with everything. He's not condescending. He's not meaning. He's not going to talk down to you no matter how many times you go to him about the same thing. But at some point, there should be a level of elevation where if I'm complaining to you today, God, about the fact that I only have black shirts and I would like some colored shirts. If I only have black shirts 3 weeks from now, I should not be coming to you with the same complaint. Because when I came to you the first time, when I went to God the first time, I should say, he didn't already started giving me a remedy to my problem, to my complaint. Well, is it that you only have black shirts because you're too lazy to go to work? Which means you don't have finances, which means you don't have the money to buy colored shirts. Or is it that I need you to only have black shirts because I need you to learn to be content with only having this, so that when I bless you with the colored shirts, you understand how to appreciate that more. See, but if all we're doing is complaining, we block everything out. We block out his word, we block out his correction, we block out his compassion, we block out everything. So we have to make sure we are making the conscious decision of making the switch from complaining. And real quick, I want to go back to the initial definition that we would get first when it comes to complaining. A statement that a situation is unsatisfactory or unacceptable. So what we are ultimately saying to God is, God, I'm complaining about this because it's unacceptable to me. But be very careful about that, because a lot of times we put ourselves in those unacceptable and unsatisfactory situations. When we make decisions without God, when we run ahead of God, when we don't move with God, and now we're mad at the situation that we're in, and now we're going to him and we're blaming him while we're in the situation we're in. So let's make the switch, y'all. Let go of the complaining and making sure that we are shining like the beacons of light that he has created us to be, so that we can show others how to fulfill and live out his word. Thank you, Pastor Steph.
Thank you, Shantice. Let go of the complaints. Thank you for that practical switch tip. And we pray you have a blessed day.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you. Ooh, what a set of comments. So I hear everything the men are saying. I hear Pastor Jeff say, women, you are our glory and you represent us. And as long as you look good, as long as you're shining, we could be big, fat, ugly, dumb, uneducated, but as long as you look good, then we are good because you are our glory. So my mind goes to the verse, husbands, love your wife as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. Ephesians 5:25. Let me make sure that I got that right. Ephesians 5:25. Now, here's where my head goes. Husband, love your wives as Christ loved the church and he gave himself up for her. So when you say to me, Pastor Steph, women are our glory, and she's got to keep it together. He even made the statement where he says, listen, I don't care if you had 2-3 children, you got to keep it together. The men talked about some of the reasons why she is no longer attractive to him. Well, guess what? When Christ gave his life up for us, we weren't looking very attractive either. We were actually in the middle of killing Christ when he gave his life up for us. We were not treating him very nicely. We were not looking very pretty. We were nice and ugly. We were hateful. We were wicked. We were evil. And what do we give Christ now? Because Christ didn't only give himself up at that point. He's been giving himself up over and over and over and over again. Even for you, husband, who is very ugly when you speak of this unattractiveness in your wife, who, as the men so rightly said, they check out and they're off complaining, or they're off with the pornography, or they're fully out cheating, or, they're not paying her any attention anymore. There's a lot of things that men do when they become unattractive. There are a lot of things that men do when the wives are no longer attractive. But if we parallel that to husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church, then no matter how ugly we are, Christ never stops giving himself up for us. He never stops loving us. No matter how unattractive we get, he never checks out. No matter how unattractive we get, he never leaves us nor forsakes us. No matter how unattractive we become, he has still kept the vow that he initially made. So who are we now to look at that wife and say, I'm no longer attracted because she's complaining, or because she nags, or because she's this, or because she doesn't do this, or because she's had those 2-3 children that she wanted, not me, and now she's gained that weight, and now it's hard for her to let that weight go, and now I'm looking over here across at this other woman, and that's the way my wife used to look, and she used to fix herself up and put the makeup on, and make sure her hair is done, and now she's not doing those things anymore, and we haven't bothered to find out why. We haven't bothered to investigate to find out what has happened that she is no longer who she is. And I did ask the question. I said, well, you're no longer who you were either. But the double standard seems to reign. And I always say, I love God and Jesus because never once have they ever required or asked us or expects us to do anything that they are not already doing themselves. And here we are with the men who easily twist this thing and say, you know what, I don't have to keep my best up. I can now have a beer belly. I can now, look at, look like this or look at that. We just came from off a cruise, and I looked at the men on this cruise ship, and I saw the wives who were, really dressed up, and they were dolled up and had on their high heel shoes and the makeup, and There were some men who you could tell they had been married for years, and they sure ain't looking like they were looking years ago, but she's making sure that she looks just like she used to look, because she wants to stay attractive for her husband. Well, I say let's stay attractive for Christ. What are we willing to do that we are going to continue to get dressed up? What are we going to do that we're going to continue to put out 100% plus? We're going to put on that makeup every day for Christ. And I'm talking about genuineness. I'm not talking about makeup to try to cover up things. I'm talking about what are we going to do to just say to God that no matter what it takes, I am always going to put on my best for you. That I'm not going to grow weary in well-doing. I am not going to crawl when I can not only walk, but I can run, but I'm tired. And I've been at this for so long that I can't keep up this good appearance any longer. Are you men willing to do that for Christ? Are we doing what we need to do to make sure that Christ is still attracted to us? Do we have that same commitment level that we want the women to have, because we are Christ's glory? Are we concerned about the way we look because we represent Christ all the time? Now, no matter whether it's Sunday through Saturday, no matter whether it's 12 o'clock in the afternoon or 12 o'clock in the morning, we are still representing Christ. When we are sick, we are representing Christ. When we are well, we are representing Christ. When we are old, we are representing Christ. When we are young, we are representing Christ. When we are rich, we are representing Christ. And when we are poor, we're representing Christ. Are we willing, men, to represent ourselves as though we are always representing Christ the way we want women to always represent us? Because we're your glory. Same way Christ thinks of us. We're his glory. Are we going to sit down? Are we going to roll over and die? Or are we always going to stand to attention and remember we are Christ's glory? The same expectation we have of women, we need to have that same expectation of ourselves, because we always represent Christ. We are God's eye candy. When we are seen not as perfect, but as separate from the world, we're attractive. The word of God says, let your light so shine so that all men might see Jesus in you. That's the way the men want the women to represent them. When a woman is dressed up, he feels good when she's walking on his arm, because everybody says that's his girl, that's his wife, that's his woman. Well, we need to make sure we're doing the same thing, men and women. And it amazes me how men always have this double standard in, they want to make sure the woman is doing what she's supposed to do. But it's okay if they fall by the wayside, as long as she's doing what she needs to do. Well, I'm going to put that in the biblical form. Husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church, and he gave his life up for them. Make sure that you are always attractive to Jesus, because he's given his life up for you. Are you keeping yourself camera ready, mirror ready, wonderful, beautiful, shining? Until you can do that, lower your expectations of the morning, because we have no business at having expectation of anyone else that we don't have for ourselves. You've been watching It's Due Time with Pastor Steph. Join us Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. where we discuss matters of the heart, mind, and spirit. As you go through your day, be sure to set your mind on things that are above, not on things that are on the earth. They will only serve as a distraction. Remember, prayer changes things. It's Pastor Steph signing off, and I want to thank my Due Time crew, the men, for always coming through big time. Thank you for hanging out with us and helping to keep that chat room alive. Please do not miss this opportunity to give Christ your life right now. Please do not miss this opportunity to strengthen that relationship with the Lord, and make sure you shine brightly at all times. Until tomorrow, God's fans, where it's Let's Talk About It Tuesday Church Folk Day. Until then, I love